book. I mean, it's a painful story, but the thing I say to people is start small and work out the bugs and then get bigger.
Did you overextend yourself?
No, it wasn't anything to do with that. It was not understanding the importance of a patent.
Oh.
It's a painful story, Cynthia. Please let me bring it up.
No, well, it's in the past, and you're doing well, and living well is the best revenge.
What it is, most of my friends have lost businesses. Mm-hmm. And the saying that they say, which I agree with, is that I didn't become a businessman until I lost it, and then I had to rebuild it. And it was in the rebuilding I really learned more than when I was just blindly going by the seat of my pants building it. So in 85, when I lost everything, I was in the process of rebuilding it again, and that's when I really got smart. What happens to most people is they go to school and they're taught not to make mistakes, yet the way we learn is by making mistakes. So what I advise people is just practice starting your own business small. Don't take any big risk, and your intelligence and your skills go up, and that's really the most important thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Okay, 808-5600, 808-5600 is the phone number. Dennis from San Francisco. Hi, you're on KSFO.
Cynthia, first of all, I have to say that you got a great show, and I wish you many, many, many hours of extended play there.
From your mouth to my program director's ears.
You got it. And
Thank you.
Wish you many diamonds in your life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, I wanted to ask Robert, I have a situation here where I have a family of 4, and we rent. And my mom, who owns her own home here in San Francisco, in a not-so-great area, wants to actually sell her home and move in with us, possibly buy like a bigger home, which would give me a mortgage of about $200,000 to $300,000. Would you recommend that she does that at this time, or how would you view a situation like that?
If I could step back one more time, my rich dad used to say, 2 people cannot wear the same pair of shoes at the same time. Old Chinese proverb.
Okay.
The thing I always say to people is, most importantly, you must have a financial plan, and that's what I would call 2 or 3 financial plans, or call Cynthia, and sit down and really go over your income, your taxes, your expenses, your dreams, your wishes, your children's needs, and all this, and work out a long-term plan rather than trying to shoot from the hip. If I gave you advice, it would be based upon my financial situation at this time, and I would always hesitate giving advice unless I know your financial situation.
And Robert, that's a great point, because so many people, they're concerned about the investment, they're concerned about the product before they figure out how that product, the investment, fits into some kind of overall plan.
Yes, exactly. What Cynthia's saying is exactly right. The people make the mistake of looking at either real estate or stocks or bonds or mutual funds, and they don't have a plan. The plan is more important than the product. And then from there, once you have your long-term goal and short-term goals and all that, then the product begins to fit in.
So then it's kind of the piece.
Give you advice over the phone, because I really don't know your personal financial situation at this time.
Right, it's yours, and it's your mom's, and it's your wife's. In other words, when are you going to retire? How much money do you need? What is going to get you to that retirement goal sooner rather than later? Is it going to be this mortgage on this bigger house, or is it going to be another use of that money or those assets?
Well, now, see, primarily this is also a situation of need, because she is older and she needs more care. So it's not simply about the investment or the finances. It's about her needs and her being taken
exactly
care of.
And that's why I would really recommend sitting down with a planner.
Yes.
And Cynthia's exactly correct, because it's not just your decision. It is now, 5 or 6 people's decision?
Right. Well, it's at least 2 or 3.
At least 2 or 3, yeah.
Right.
And if you have children, children when they go to college, man, I tell you, that's worse than a house.
That's right. And so all of this is part of a plan. You are all elements in this plan. And so, yes, you do need to sit down with somebody, map out a strategy, and it's going to come down to choices. There are always going to be trade-offs. You do this, You won't necessarily be able to do that.
Right.
And you see that in the grand scheme of things, and that grand scheme includes investment, it includes taxes.
Insurance,
sure. Okay?
It really is. I mean, what she's saying is take the time and invest the time, even if it takes a month or so to really go through the plan. And then you're able to make a more educated decision. If I were to advise you, I would be, what's called malpractice.
And Dennis, if you want some help getting started and want some information about financial planners and how to go about this process, call the voicemail number at KSFO. It's 415-954-8667, okay?
Great.
Thank you
very much.
Sure.
Take the time, Dennis, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You'll be very happy you did. You know, Robert, people spend more time figuring out how to drive from San Francisco to New York. It's true. Then they figure out, how I'm going to be able to retire, what to do with my life.
Cynthia, I'm not kidding people when I said I just played Monopoly. I'm not a very smart guy. I just said, 4 greenhouses, 1031 tax-free hotel. Okay, got it. And that's all I did. Meanwhile, I was building businesses, and I was still investing in real estate.
Okay, and it's also to understand here, assets come in many shapes and sizes, not just real estate.
And it was also corporate law, tax law, and accounting law. I mean, it's not an answer. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Anybody gives you an answer, I'd run.
But see, with you, you're someone who said, look, I'm not going to fight the system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to really understand this system and turn it to my advantage.
Exactly. And I want to say to people is there's Rich Dad Poor Dad is going to be 3 books. Rich Dad Poor Dad is number 1. There's a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant is 2, and then there's Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. And the Guide to Investing is just a plan. You got to come up with a plan. But book 2 is about the employee, the self-employed, or small business owner, the business owner, and the investor. But most people do not realize that the tax laws are written different for everybody.
Well, we're going to have a question actually about incorporation when we come back, and many other questions here on KSFO. The phone number, 808-5600. My name's Cynthia.
That millionaire is on the terrace.
Cynthia Oti with you on KSFO. The phone number, 808-5600. We're talking with Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, a book you just all have to read. Trust me. Svetlana from Hayward, you're on KSFO. Hi.
Cynthia. Hi, Robert. Thank you very much for your great show.
You're welcome.
I have a question to Robert. In his book, in your book, you mentioned a lot about incorporation, and that it makes sense to put any expenditures before you pay taxes. I read the book, and I really want to start investing in real estate. And my question is, as a beginner, shall I start incorporating from the beginning, or it's something that should be done later?
That's a very good question. I think goes back again. You should have a plan first of all. I like what you're saying. If you're going to become an investor, make it a business. For instance, Warren Buffett is a stock picker, but he put it inside a corporation called Berkshire Hathaway, and he took that corporation public. That's how the rich really get rich. So if you're going to begin investing, I would look at it as a long-term plan, maybe 10, 15 years. You're going to start acquiring it, you're going to become a student of it, and you're going to start building a business around it. If you incorporate only for the purposes of avoiding taxes, that borders on tax evasion. If you incorporate because you really want to make money, then the tax law and the tax code is on your side. So again, it goes back to your plan and then your intent. If your intent is just to dodge taxes, I would not incorporate.
Thank you, Svetlana.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, yes. And do the homework. Get yourself educated. Don't just run out and start buying real estate and think you have a business. A lot of people get burned that way. Richard from Dublin, you're on KSFO. Hi.
Yeah, hello. I had a restaurant for about 7 years out here. Took a break for about 3, and now I'm thinking about getting back into it. He's talking about a lot of real estate things. So I'm wondering, the restaurant business is highly fatal, and I was just wondering if that's a good idea, a good investment.
Are you asking me about the restaurant business?
Yes.
That's what my rich dad was in. Let's give you a big tip. It's the same story of Ray Kroc and McDonald's. See, the restaurant is the business, and the building is the asset, or the land is the building, and land is the asset. So the thing my rich dad said to me was very simply, the only reason you form a business is to buy the asset. And going back to that first question, the difference between an employee buying an asset and a business buying an asset is that an employee buys assets with after-tax dollars, and the business buys the asset with pre-tax dollars. In other words, you're getting about a 50% discount right off the start. So if you know how to run a restaurant, when I wish I did, because cash machines, I would only start the restaurant the same way Ray Kroc did, was to buy the real estate. First. I mean, well, it's the mission statement is to acquire real estate, not the business is just the cash machine, the restaurant. For instance, I have a friend who has a nursery, and he just has acres of nurseries on it, but the flowers and the plants are the business, but the land is the asset. And what he does then is when the city moves out to him, he very simply subdivides his land, makes a couple of $3 million, and moves off.
Hey, Robert, what if I said real estate was not an option? And now I want you to talk to me and other people about ways that what your rich dad would say, how to acquire assets, not liabilities, but not real estate, because not everyone is suited to that game.
That's correct, Cynthia. And the real thing that my rich dad said was not too much to buy real estate. It didn't make any difference. Was that he wanted me to be an entrepreneur, to build businesses, because the tax laws are written in favor of business guys. So that woman who called in earlier that she wants to start investing in real estate, it doesn't make a difference if it's mutual funds or, Beanie Babies or whatever, as long as she builds a business out of it. You look at Starbucks coffee, they built a business out of coffee.
Right.
And it's a mindset. And as I said earlier, my rich dad said very simply, the plan of the rich is to build a business, and the business buys the assets. So it could be real estate, it could be stocks, bonds, insurance, anything. The key factor is that it buys it with pre-tax dollars. That's how the rich get ahead so much faster. If you take that company that you built public, then you hit the realm of the ultra-rich at that time. Because Bill Gates didn't get rich just building a company, or he didn't get rich on his salary, and he getting rich on a great product. He got rich by building a big business and taking it public. And that's what the Silicon Valley is all about right now.
Is it possible to get rich and not be in business for yourself?
Yeah, you can marry somebody.
No, oh please! I wait for that. I'll be the 105. Let's. I don't think that's in my card.
I think it goes down to the plan. I met this one woman whose plan was just to marry rich men, and she fulfilled the plan. I mean, I'm not recommending it.
No,
She followed a plan.
No. Well, I know, Robert. Let's just say that plan does not appeal to me. But what I'm leading towards, believe me, I don't care about somebody's money. What I'm leading towards is there are assets that can become sources of passive income, whether they be stocks or bonds or funds.
It could also be a patent.
Or like what you're doing. If you keep doing the great job you're doing and you get more and more syndicated, that's an asset.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you speak, you hit more and more people. That's definitely a business system you're building there.
I hope Disney's listening.
There are so many ways to do it. That's why I really hate saying, well, this is the way I did it and this is the way you should do it. I don't really say that. The thing I love about the internet right now is it gives more people more opportunity to access world markets. And it's never been easier and for less money. In other words, when Henry Ford had to build a car factory, today a used computer and a telephone line, you're in business. So it's getting easier and easier, and what I thank you for having me on the program. All I try to do is change a mindset.
Oh, and you have. There's definitely an educational process that has gone on. The concepts that you raise in this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, definitely affected me. I told you, one very real effect. I was thinking for a while before I read the book, I said, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a bigger place in the city. And I read your book and I said, why? What a stupid thing to do.
Right.
I'm comfortable where I am. Let me just stay there and put my money elsewhere to build up the asset side of the ledger. Got a lot of people want to talk to you here. Dee from San Francisco. Hi, you're on KSFO.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
My husband and I both read your book together, and we're totally excited about moving forward with a number of your concepts.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to see if you can elaborate on the 1031 tax break concept.
Yeah, well, the 1031 is probably the biggest tax hedge I've ever seen. I don't want to get into too much about it, but
For instance, you buy 5. All I did with my formula was I bought 4 houses. I bought them for, like, in the depressed market. I bought a whole pile of them. And